welcome to the DreamHack Showdown Summer 2020. It's day 2 of the NA event, and we couldn't be more thrilled to be here. We couldn't be here without our fantastic sponsors, Monster and Monster Studios. My name is Frankie Ward, but you don't want to hear from me. You want to hear from our 2 analysts, the amazing Vilga and Fearless. Ladies, welcome to your own respective homes where you're broadcasting from, because we're very responsible here at DreamHack and we're all about the social distancing and, you know, not catching COVID. So how are you doing? Vilga, how did you find day 1?
Well, that was tiring. I need to pay my respects to every analyst, every person who's working on the desk and behind the scenes, because it's actually really exhausting. All my time I was thinking that when you're a professional player, it's already so stressful, you know, to participate in big tournaments. But now I can see it's even more stressful to be an analyst, to be like working behind the scenes. You actually need to watch every match and you need to analyze it. So, but just to remind it to all players, professional players, if you guys watching it, the more comfortable the tournament is, the more work is done by the guys behind the scene.
Oh, well, we do have a fantastic team here at DreamHack. They're one of my favorite teams to work with. They are the best. Shout out to producer Daniela. And Eric, please don't cut off my audio. Fearless, talk us through what happened yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday we started off with 4 best of 3s in total, and we saw a whole lot of terrain, ladies and gentlemen. I was quite surprised, to be honest, you know, seeing so many mixed teams come up and rise to the occasion. Terrain was a little bit of an unusual pick, but it shows that so many teams are comfortable with that map. And we also saw the first vertigo of the NA tournament, which is pretty exciting as well. It is, of course, a double elimination bracket, so we are not saying goodbye to some of the teams just yet. That will be happening all today. We had Able Esports facing off against Dangerous Game. After that, Silhouette against That's What She Said. 2 great openers. And after that, you know, they were facing the top 2 seats, CLG Red and Dignitas.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely worth sticking around for. But right now, on the blower, we have got Miss Harvey. Hello, Steph. You're a legend. And it's really exciting to have you on the show. But you tweeted, because obviously I've been stalking you. It's called doing research, apparently. You love competing in tournaments like these. What is it that you love about these tournaments like Showdown?
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing about competition is you kind of never grow out of it. I've been doing so much more in the last 2 or 3 years, and frankly, it's so hard and not to compete full-time and not to give up everything and go back to full-time competing. Vilga, I know you feel me. It's been my life for the last 17 years. And when you have a tournament like that and girls show up and they're like, you want to play with us? I have to say yes. I don't care. I have to compete. I have to give it a shot again. And I'm really fortunate that I was able to do it this weekend with That's What She Said. And we're only at day 2 now, so pretty excited.
Well, you played really well yesterday, you know, like you hit these op shots, being blind, these flicks. You were really amazing. First of all, maybe you tell us about your work. What are you doing for CLG?
Yeah, thank you for saying that I played well. I thought I played awful, but
No.
you know, my teammates were carrying me. I give a lot of experience and knowledge, but for CLG, I'm doing so much right now behind the scene. I'm a director over there, and I work with the whole staff and even the players to create a bunch of initiatives. You know me, I'm a big activist. So we work with communities to create youth program. We launch a free online esports camp that's going to happen in August, but we're also doing competition. I'm producing shows like this one for Valorant. We are pushing for diversity, inclusivity, a lot of BLM work, a lot of minority work, women. Obviously, we have our own little community called the Red Fuel, where we do Red Fuel competitions. I'm honestly extremely overwhelmed. I've never worked as much in my own life, but I'm enjoying it because it's the thing that's the next best thing if I'm not competing full time, I would say. It's making
That's
a difference.
So nice.
Yeah.
So happy for you. One more question for me, sorry. I want to say that you were my idol, like this
no
many
way!
years ago. I swear to God, when I started playing 1.6, I always watched your team, United, just owning everyone at ESWC, the only female tournament we had back these days. Maybe you can give some advice for this, young upcoming girls players who want to be the best, who want to achieve same as you did.
Yeah, one thing that Potter, me, Diane, even Benita, in NA at least, is that we never gave up. We've been through droughts where we didn't win, but you don't remember those because we never gave up and we kept winning. Eventually, we kept working hard. We did what we could. We had our own organization. We were doing everything behind the scene. We all had different kind of hats, but our priority was winning. And we were talking about it, Potter and I, the other day, the things I would do to go back in time and do it all over again, knowing what I know now. But one thing is for sure, if you quit, you will never get there. So the goal is to never quit to create that legacy. If you look back at any champion, they all had hurdles. And if they quit there, we'll never think about them or remember them. So, in Europe, it's kind of the same. You look at what Vilga is doing, even Giano and Zaz, they've had up and downs. They've come in and out. But the one thing that unites all of them is that they never quit. They never gave up and they keep working hard. So
I have goosebumps.
Yeah, so that's my goal. That's my little thing to the newcomers out there. For Blender, I know you're watching. I see you in chat. If you give up after this tournament, you're never gonna make it to this desk and potentially be Vilga, be me, be Frankie, be Fearless. So don't quit.
Exactly.
Fearless, is there anything you'd like to ask?
I have one question, coming back to yesterday, because yesterday we had a little bit of a chat with Pinecone, and she was saying, even though to us, she kind of showed off as being a pretty confident player, but she told us that she was actually kind of nervous yesterday coming into this tournament, her kind of her first rodeo, but for you, it isn't. So I was wondering, how do you kind of help the team out as far as the nervousness goes?
I try to calm them in between the games, but I'm still nervous when I play tournaments. So I kind of do it for them, but for me, I say, hey, I'm doing this right now. So if it helps you, do it, right? But I think that the girls, one thing, Mini is so calm. She's one of those players that honestly in practice and in the match, she's the same human. So it was same for Sam, serious. They're really calm people, so it really helps us out. And I think it's important to have someone on your team that's always overconfident, and that's Pinecone for us. She's so confident that it's giving us it's gonna be easy. And if you look again at all the top players right now in the female scene, you always have one kind of oddball in every team that's super confident, that's out there and then that's just saying I'm the best, who cares about anybody else. So I think it's kind of essential because you don't want to beat yourself up by not being confident. And I think Fearless, to answer your question, I think the thing I help the most is probably in game, knowing when to take something control, when to give it up, when to kind of switch it up. We had a little bit of difficulties with switching it up on Inferno, so I take that on me. But the rest of of all the other maps, I tried to say, hey, if they do this, we need to retake control of this part of the map, So that's where I try to help Pinecone in her calling, because she's IGLing pretty well. So I just try to give the extra insight that sometimes you don't see when you IGL, and you need someone else to kind of be there as your backup.
Well, Miss Harvey, before I let you go, and I honestly wish we could have a whole hour with you because there's so much to talk about. But given that you're working towards a more fairer future for everyone, you're very powerful in your activism. What is your hope for the future? What do you want to see, say, a couple of years down the line for women in Counter-Strike?
Yeah, well, women in Counter-Strike is something that's extremely difficult because the scene has been around for so long, and we're one of the most cherished women's scene, and we're still inexistent. So if we look at all the other games like Valorant or League of Legends and whatnot, it's even worse. you know. So what I like to think is that we continue doing these events like DreamHack is doing and Showdown and whatnot, but by showcasing talented women on the desk is going to inspire more. So that's the organic part. But the non-organic part is taking a stand as a sponsor, as an org, as a tournament like DreamHack is doing, and making a difference. And that's a choice that involves money and potentially very little return immediately. But it's something that in 10 years, it's going to be crazy. So that's what I'm trying to push for at CLG. Yes, we've had CLG Red for 5 years, but what has it done? Yes, it's inspiring people, but it's not enough. So I come in here at CLG and I try to create initiatives, push for amateur scene. We talk a lot to the government too. You might not know, but we have a government affair with Madison Square Garden, and we try to push things behind the scene as well to try to make a difference in schools, in our education system. So there's a lot more than just female tournaments and female teams. And while this needs to continue, we need to also invest our money in things that we know we will get little return, but it's for a better world.
Well, Miss Harvey, thank you ever so much for joining us. It's been fantastic getting to chat with you for a bit longer. And good luck in your match against Dangerous Game.
Thank you. And I'll try to get Minnie on.
But we actually have no time for our topic of the day, but that's absolutely fine because we got to spend more time with Steph. So we're going to take a short break. But when we come back, we'll be talking about Steph's team, that's what she said, and their matchup against Dangerous Game.